Oh, I lost count of how many days, but I would guess about a week to cut and gut this soggy boat out. Down to the hull now. Time to begin cutting the stringers out and replacing all the stringers. Then we can patch the hole in the hull right there where it delammed and begin building this thing up from the... So we have a nice clear day today. Pulled the boat out of the shop so I can get in here and finish cutting out the stringers, grinding out the bottom to reglass it. And I'm ready for COVID protection too, head to toe. Gonna be an ugly, dusty, fiberglass itchy job, but here we go. So here's how somebody decided to glass over mud, chopped strand that they never wet. So now I get to grind all of it off. The stuff that won't peel has to be ground off to get it to the original glass. Absolute mess. Laying fiberglass over dirt and not even wetting it with resin. No wonder this shit didn't stick. These are all pieces of the hull that were cut out from the interior because they delaminated from the bottom. See here? None of the rear of the boat was the fiberglass adhered, and I don't know how much further forward that it's going to be pulling up, but you can see clearly that it is not attached to the hull, and probably why this boat was so waterlogged. Much bigger project than I anticipated, for sure. Very teak. Put up a big curtain, keep the dust contained. Rub rail gone. Fix some holes. And right here we have some separation. Rivets are popped. We need to squeeze that back down and put some rivets in there. Doing some Bondo work, some peanut butter to fill the hole where they injected the liquid foam, and just a whole lot of fine puttying. Fill this hole that was in the side there, blast it, put some fairing compound over it to smooth that out. Going around the whole front end. Once it's all filled, sanded, we'll be able to get a gel coat before we put all the rod holders back in. So, went and got marine plywood today. Drove up to Northwest Portland off Nikolai Street. Got 7 sheets of 3/4 inch marine grade plywood for 7 sheets of plywood. Okay, here we have center console being reconstructed. Completely cut apart. Spliced it right here. Where the tape is, we'll splice in there. And then fill in that 11-inch gap. Then add another 12 to 15 inches to this here, extending it, raising the center console up so the leaning post will not have the console so far below it. And patching up a whole bunch of unnecessary holes. Here's a seam on the top. I'll have to grind the gel coat off. Fill the gap with some rope. And then fiberglass over everything and give it a final gel coat. Continuing to rebuild this center console. Glassing the parting line where I cut it and narrowed it. Filling in some holes. Filling in the old switch panel. Not going with the original one, it was a piece of garbage. Filling in the edges of the dial boxes here that had a plexiglass cover, kind of strange. So I'm gonna fill in these edges here, sand it, bevel, and they'll be recessed, but not having that plexiglass over the top. Leave a couple of weep holes there so if water gets on the dash, it can drain under. Once the top is fixed up, then I'm going to add on the additional 12-inch panels here, raising that up so it can be used as a stand-up and leaning post console instead of the sit-down like Mako made them. Continuing to patch quilt the new center console together. Did this joint here, wait until that sets so I can straighten out the panel and attach this side here. Adding 12 inches to the height so it's more of a stand-up or leaning post console rather than for sitting down. Okay, successfully glassed in the extension piece here. It's where the previous ice chest or fish box was cut out of it. Let that harden up. That joint too. And then continue on with adding some length to this so it's not so short. So today, taking the center console and glassing in a couple of clear grained wood stringers to help with the splice here so it never has to crack. It's fiberglass, but just give it a couple stringers, a little bit of wood rim around the opening so I can put screws into it. And I'll do the same up on this other side and get a couple stringers up there. So I got a coat of gel coat on the inside of the center console. Makes it look a whole lot better. Ungel coated area still here. Need to sand that down and get some gel coat on there, but it'll make it all look nice when it's done. Glassing in the bow flooring here, it'll help reinforce this, put it in with some peanut butter on the sides here, and over it with some 8-ounce glass. Get another piece cut for in here, and then we'll glass that in and paint it with some white gel coat. Make this hatch compartment look nice and clean. Put a layer of 1708 on the bow here, inside of the boat. Strengthen that. Got the floor of the hatch compartment put in, glassed in, and tomorrow I'll be glassing in the 1708 on that side and this piece of glass right here. Tie this all in together, and I'll gel coat it white and start making the deck on. In the process now of making the front deck piece to go over the front compartment. Got the plywood cut. Now marking out lines here. Cut a hatch door in for access into the compartment there. And then after that's cut, fiberglass both sides and get it glassed into place. Got the new gas tank in last week, kind of getting it positioned here. 69 gallons, that'll be nice, centered and forward in the boat. A little bit each day. Making the bottom reinforcements for the hatch on the casting deck. Glassed in the strips of 3/4 inch marine plywood to act as a backer. And over here have the lid for it. Backside fiberglass. Keep it even more waterproof. And when all this glass is done, sand it, grind it, and mount the hinges so the flap opens and closes. Then I can mount the deck platform in the bow of the boat. So today we're glassing down the bow deck area, putting this into place with some chopped strand mat and some 8-pound woven. Get this thing solidified here into the bow. Now using pin roller, roll resin into the cloth, get the air bubbles out. Make sure it bonds well to that plywood. Don't want a bubbling deck in the future. This will make sure glass is stuck very well and no air pockets. Now we'll let it dry and sand. All glassed in, time to dry. And I can sand it and get it ready for gel coating once everything else is done.